Hello everyone, welcome to another Tuesday Tidbit. So today's verse comes from Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 through 7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. In my devotional time this week, there was this phrase that one of the authors used, and they said, anxiety is the emotional rehearsal of the worst case scenario. And that really stood out to me because that's exactly what we do. When we're worried about something, we tend to just overthink it and dwell on what we're worried will happen and dwell on the worst case scenario. It can be about our life and getting things done, or it can be about our jobs, it can be about people in our lives that we love and care about, it can be worry or fear of what others are thinking of us. Anxiety takes so many different forms. Just going to the grocery store sometimes can cause anxiety. And when we dwell on the what ifs and the worst case scenarios, what does it do? It drains us. It drains us mentally and emotionally, because we're just thinking and thinking and thinking, and we get so zeroed in on what we're worried about, and that takes a toll on us. It can be so stressful, and it can cause us to feel stuck and defeated and depressed, which leads to stealing our joy. It takes us out of the present moment of what we need to get done, and it kind of stops us in our tracks and keeps us from experiencing what God has for us here and now in the moment. And so I love how this verse points us to the Lord, to bring all of our anxieties before Him, to tell Him what we need, to say, Lord, I need your help with these things, rather than dwell on them ourselves and find ourselves in this down spiral of worry that paralyzes us. We can come to God with them. We can tell Him how we feel. Like, God, I'm worried that I'm not going to get all this stuff done. Or we're worried about a person. Father, I'm worried about this person that I care about, and I don't know what to do, but you do. And we bring it to Him, and we lay it before Him. And when we spend time in His Word and in His presence, we remember who He is. We remember the compassion that He has. And when we lay it all before Him, this peace comes over us, this peace that guards our hearts and our minds. We're walking through the day knowing God is with us, that He is going to help us. We shift our focus from the anxiety onto Him, and it's a peace that even if we do end up facing that worst case scenario, we are more equipped because we are covered in His peace. We have been strengthened in Him to be able to face it and handle it when that time comes, rather than letting something that may never happen steal our joy and cause us to dread every single day. And it reminds me of this time when I was a college student and I was a music major, and you'd have to learn these pieces throughout the year that you would perform in front of a jury to get your grade. And one of the pieces I was learning was a fugue. I never learned a fugue before at that time. I wasn't sure how to approach it, and I'd practice and practice, and I felt like it was going nowhere. And I remember feeling so anxious as the day was approaching that we'd have to perform, and I'm like, my fugue is not ready. And I remember I would just go, and it might seem counterproductive, but I would spend an hour, maybe more, with God, bringing this before Him, taking a moment to read His Word and to let His peace wash over me. So when I returned to the practice room to practice, I was more focused, I was ready to go, and I was collaborating with God in me, knowing that I asked Him to help me focus, to help me manage my practice time well, and knowing like I trust He's going to help me, He's going to show up, and I'm showing up, and together, we were able to work through that time, and I ended up learning it. Even to the point that I had a friend who literally was like, that was so impossible. I don't know how you did that. And I was like, honestly, it was God. Like, it was spending time with God. Because if I'd been trying to do that all on my own while feeling anxious about it, knowing that there's no way I can learn this in time, that practice time would have been so unproductive. But when I turned to Him and laid it before Him, He gave me this peace to go in there and do my best and just know whatever does happen, I have worked as hard as I can and that He is with me. It's just really amazing. It feels like God can bend time sometimes. It feels like He really can just help us hone in and focus and get things done, and trust that He will be with us and strengthen us and take care of us through it. That's the Tuesday Tidbit for today. I hope it could encourage you and just be a reminder that when you're feeling anxious, to go and bring it before the Lord, tell Him what you need, and rest in His presence, allowing His peace to come over you and to help you to face whatever the day holds. Thanks for watching. Leave any thoughts or comments below, any stories of a time that the Lord showed up when you were feeling anxious. I'd love to hear them. And that is all for now. End scene. Woo!